Chapter 5 Test Result. After passing through the Hell Week, 23 candidates were urged to study the theory of special investigation curriculum. This section set them apart from those who initially aimed to participate in the Navy SEAL team. The survivors of Hell Week here had to understand every aspect of the investigation, including the combat tactics, the use of specialized equipment, and the fieldwork sessions, which were parts of a new curriculum specifically tailored for selecting DSI officials. The candidates were required to relentlessly master both the theoretical and practical sections, not to mention absorbing the material in the textbook for the exam. Thanks to Singh for tutoring. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to answer any of it at all. Tarn and Yai, who could finish the exam quickly, left the building and waited for everyone else. It's finally over! Tarn raised his voice while stretching left and right. Over my ass. We'll have to wait for the test result, said Yai with a weary demeanor. He was anxious about his answers in the exam paper. He wasn't good at theory and was unsure that the answer he jotted down was correct. Tarn squeezed on Yai's shoulder and pushed away. In the tutoring last night, Singh said you did it well. So, what are you worried about? You know that I'm not good at this kind of stuff. If I was, I wouldn't bother you to teach me since grade 7. He really sucked at studying. Even Tarn, who didn't pay much attention in class, could understand the lesson better than him. Just wait for the result, and we'll talk about it later. I think you pass. What makes you think that I'll pass? I don't know. My personal extrasensory sense, I guess. Yai said lightheartedly. Tarn laughed dryly to Yai and quipped. Then, my extrasensory sense also tells me you passed too. Even though Tarn didn't have much gut feeling towards this test result, he still managed to say so to ease his brother up. He didn't want Pi to worry. If I couldn't pull it off, but you could, you have to take good care of yourself, alright? He had given his word to Aunt Cow to look after Tarn well, but if he wasn't qualified for this job, he wouldn't be able to repay her for saving his family. And if things happened to go down that way, Yai would have carried the burden of guilt for the rest of his life. What's got into you? What's the point of making entrustment by now? The result hasn't even come out yet. Pretty much. Also, I can take care of myself, bro. I don't need you to take care of me. I'm a fully blossomed, grown ass adult already. Never mind. I'm anxious. I'm stressed out. Tarn glanced at his brother while shaking his head disdainfully. Why did Yai have to be so tense? Yai had unloaded his stress to Tarn a few more sentences, and the rest of their friends gradually came out from the building. Yo, what's up? The exam slayers. You had left before everyone else. Squinty Cam greeted them while approaching. Exam slayer. Horseshit. I couldn't do it. That's why I left early, retorted Yai. Tarn turned to Paya and asked, Hey, what about you? Child's play, answered Paya with an impassive face, causing everyone else to wring their mouths in envy. Right, Mr. Golden Boy. You're all around capable of everything. I'm jealous. You're handsome, rich, and top notch at combat. Can I ask? A flawless one like you doesn't have a girlfriend, seriously? Cam asked jealously. Paya curved up a smile as he put on a thoughtful expression for a second before saying with a warm tone, Just the person I have feelings for. A gentle smile revealed after finishing his word. That smile caused Tarn to be stunned and feel hollow in the heart. However, he didn't bother to find out why. Tarn stood still and listened to Paya and Kem's conversation in silence. Other friends probed to see the lucky girl's photo that Paya had a secret crush on, but Paya refused. So Tong Tai came up with the idea to search for a photo in Paya's wallet in the dorm. After hearing that, everybody darted to the dorm, with Paya chasing after them, whining. Yai switched his gaze back to Tarn, who was standing inertly beside him. Yai threw a fist at Tarn's shoulder softly. What's wrong? Standing still like your soul has left the body. Tarn feigned a smile at his brother. I'm just thinking about something. Let's go to the beach. Today was the last day of their stay. After the result came out and pinned the DSI emblem badge, they would part ways to their own work and would be too busy to come back here again. What kind of mood are you in? You don't go? I'll go. To escort the old man around here. Yai unfolded a smile, reached out one arm to hold his brother's neck, and dragged him along to the shore. The sea breeze blew strongly, causing the hair to flow in the wind. It was refreshing that they could clear their head. Yai brought Tarn to sit under the shade of a tree, swept his gaze through the expansive blue sea ahead quietly, and started to realize when having something in mind why people love to lose themselves in reverie by the sea. What is it between you and Paya? Tarn glanced at Yai puzzlingly. What kind of question is this? Answer me. You like him, don't you? Yai fixated his gaze on Tarn's face. The two made eye contact for so long before Tarn was the first one who averted his gaze. Yeah, I like him, but as a friend. Are you sure you only think of him as a friend? What's your question exactly? It's surely just a friend. I've been watching you for some time already. No matter what happens, you always protect him. Just like the time when we were roaming in the woods. You saw a snake going to bite him, and you just bar it without concern for your own risk. You were lucky that the snake didn't bite you, or you'd been already delisted from the training. I I just protect him as a friend. You looked at him just like the way Mon looks at me. Hey, and how can you even compare to Pimon, the love of your life? Pimon was P.I.'s loved one. She was a trans, but she was still the one P.I. loved to the moon and back, that he agreed to go against Mommy Jumpy's will until he could date her. They both needed to fight for it, and it took a long time to win Mommy Jumpy's heart, until her heart softened that she finally accepted Pimon. Tarn couldn't help but admire the two for fighting beside each other until they could settle down, get married, and be together. The reason I ask you is to remind you to sidestep from him. You know that you. Right, I knew it! Tarn clenched his fist tightly, with bloodshot eyes. That a person like Tarn can't fall for anyone. If he did, they would face calamity. A person like Tarn can't have anyone by his side, even his own parents, said Tarn in a trembling voice. Now that Yai stabbed him at the sorest spot, the flashback of his first girlfriend, Nong Kwan's death, shot right into his mind. The glimpse of how she was covered up with blood, while Tarn, who sat in the same car, didn't even have a single scratch, only a few bruises. Not to mention Nong Ji, who took her own life without a certain reason. Anytime he mingled with anyone, they always ended up in doom, leading to the self-doubt that what was with what was him to them always brought misfortune to everyone. Tarn, that's not what I mean. I'm afraid you will get hurt, so I warned you. Yeah, I thought he possessed much enough of a melancholic fate, but when he turned to look at Tarn, it was even worse. How could someone be cursed with such an extent of a woeful love life? Tarn was still willing to offer a helping hand to everyone in need. but no one could ever lend him a helping hand in return, stand by his side and understand him. Then you have to take my word that I don't think of Paya that way, because if so, something horrible must have already happened to him. Tarn looked at Yai straight in the eyes. Yai simply nodded in acknowledgement without any further words, pulling Tarn closer to his loose embrace. Damn, it made him want to cry. Why did his brother have to face anything like this? Don't cry. Have a shame for our trainer somehow. I'm not crying, you bastard. I'm a full grown man. I won't cry, or Wangpor would nag me for it. Mm, utter bullshit. You're weeping right in my ear. Anyway, I was still in doubt, man. Let's be sincere. Do you really like Paya? Because your action speaks so freaking clearly. Tarn enlarged his eyes. No! I'm not gay, man! Tarn objected so quickly that he messed up his words. Love has no sexual boundaries. Haven't you heard it? I'm gonna slap you real hard for feigning a disgusted face like that. Yuck. He said he didn't fall for him, but loved stealing a glimpse of him, always covertly smiling and looking at him. Then, what were all that about? Not to mention protecting him to death. If all of these couldn't be called liking, what else could it be? Well, my honest answer is I don't know. All I think is Paya deserves the best, the safest, and to live his best life. I don't think of anything else. It feels like it was his responsibility. Mm. But all that you said is what lovers do, you dumbass. But I don't want to possess him or anything. The first time I saw him seemed like it was meant to be. I wanted to be friends with him. Yeah, he was the first person I wanted to approach to be his friend and want to be for life. Don't know why, but doing things for Paya comforted him. Then why, when he said he's already had his crush, you had to make a droopy face like that? After all those things Tarn said, how on earth did he not admit that he liked Paya? Uh, I don't know. It just made my heart sink. It might be because he never told me, even though we're friends. Right. At least Paya should have the heart to tell him. Nope. He should have been the first person to know before everyone else, shouldn't he? Because he was Paya's best friend. Yai was speechless. Tarn's logic seemed pretty off. Yai, am I Paya's best friend? So I should be the first to know if he has someone he likes, right? Before you met him, he had never been this far, Tarn. What Yai meant was to be nonsensical in your own head, my dear brother. Frankly, I just admire him. He's an absolute perfection. If he was an ordinary person like us when I bumped into him and made his lotuses scattered all over the ground, he would have darted to yell at me. But he actually looked at me quietly and left. Tarn could remember it all so well. Those eyes were apparently affronted, making him feel so guilty. Never mind. I'm not gonna probe on it anymore, my dear bro. You don't believe me? You said you did. And then say that. Tarn grunted in dissatisfaction and averted his gaze back to the sea, turned his ear to the howling wind, and no longer regarded the big guy on his side. What do you want, Bi? Damn you. I told you the truth, but you didn't believe it. On the other hand, Yai didn't prolong debating, only patted on Tarn's shoulder softly and switched his gaze towards the sea in silence. After confiding in each other until they could find peace, Tarn and Yai returned to the dorm and saw everyone forming a circle around Paya's bed, so the two joined them. What are you guys doing? Asked Tarn while leaning his head toward the crowd. On Paya's bed, there were two photos of two girls with breathtaking beauty, like movie stars. Or were they literally movie stars?
Finished making out on the beach? Said Kem. A smash from Yai flew on Kem, causing Tarn to accidentally let out a pleasing smile. Kem pointed out to Yai maliciously, yet didn't dare to do anything back. Right, everyone was scared of Pi, as he was as big as his name, with a savage face like a bandit. "Who are they in the pics?" asked Tarn as he took the liberty to grab them to take a closer look. Tong Thai drew near and pointed out to Tarn. "The pics in Pi's wallet." Paya went towards Tarn and nabbed the picture back. Right, and I didn't allow you all to snatch it from my wallet. "Don't be possessive, man. We just want to take a peek a little. Look, they were drop dead gorgeous, like straight out of the TV screen." Tarn stole those pictures back into his hand. "Yeah, yeah, yeah." Everyone rushed up behind Tarn's back and made dreamy eyes at those pictures. Paya crossed his arms, watching them making a perv face on his close sister's pictures. It urged him to kick them hard one by one. "Eh? Which one is Paya's secret crush?" said Tarn aimlessly. "I think this one," Kim uttered while pointing out to the picture on the left with a self-confident. This stunning bombshell must be the one the golden boy like Paya had a crush on. "But I think this one," said Yai while gesturing toward the picture on the right. The girl with the sweet, gracious manner, the same type as Paya, was likely to work out on him more. "Wanna bet?" Tong Tai came up with the idea. Everyone simultaneously nodded in agreement. "Now that you all agree to bet, do you think I'm going to tell you which one?" He acted as if he would reveal his answer to them. "Doesn't matter. I'll tell them. I know which girl he likes." It came to his sense that it must have been this girl. "Darn, I never told you. How would you know that?" Paya jumped the gun to defend himself. The flashback of when Tarn once told him that he possessed an accurate clairvoyance lit up in his thought. "Don't tell me that." "Wanna try, if I can guess it correctly?" Not only saying, but Tarn also waved those portraits in his hand back and forth with a sly grin. Paya made eye contact with Tarn, who gave him a provoking look. Paya bulged his cheek with his tongue and put on a thoughtful expression fleetingly before sending a welcoming gesture to them. He was eager to test how accurate Tarn's guessing was, too. "If I could guess it right, you must treat us all to a seafood meal." "Go ahead, go ahead. I'll take Tarn's side." Cam was the first to join the game before everyone else could. When it came to free meals, Cam was one we could trust. The others nodded in approval. Free meal, folks. It couldn't be missed. "Darn. You think which one?" rushed Tong Tai. He was dying to know the answer if it was the one on his mind. Tarn raised the portrait of the bombshell girl in the air. Cam clapped his hands in pleasure. "There, that's what I thought." Kaya smirked, but Tarn shook his head. "Not this one." "Eh?" Cam cried out. "This one." Tarn showed the image of a sweet, graceful girl to all. A smile was wiped off Kaya's face as he snatched both pics back to himself. "How's that? Am I right?" Sure as hell, his clairvoyance never missed. "Okay, I'll treat you all to grilled prawns," said Paya with a long face. "Yay!" Grilled prawn paradise. While everyone was frisking in delight, Paya's lips moved to Tarn as saying, "I'll get back to you later." Tarn quirked his eyebrow in a taunting manner in return before dancing with everyone singing Grilled Prawn Paradise. "Damn, aren't you guys all grown ups? Still, act stupid like kiddos.
Nod, yay. Yay, so you won't eat?
Of course I will. Grilled prawn paradise.
Said Yai while joining the frisky dance with them. Paya curved a smile, shook his head as he looked at his friends, who had been through a lot of things together, and let out a long sigh. He wasn't concerned about money. He was worried about the restaurant having enough seafood to serve these black hole stomach hungry men. Paya walked out to breathe the fresh air on the rooftop. After having a meal and a shower, he chose to enjoy the view here to clear up his thought, picturing the training base's night atmosphere safe in his memories. It was the right decision to participate in the training here, meet everyone, gain their friendship in return, and test his ability limit. Paya felt as if he had advanced more than ever before. Hi, Daddy. How many kilograms of prawns will you feast on us tomorrow? Tarn walked up to Paya on the side. His teased to Paya mingled with his own laughter. Paya made a side-eyed squint at Tarn.
All you can eat.
Whoa, a real sugar daddy! Paya glanced at the one on his side. For all these several months, Tarn had helped him with many things. If he didn't have Tarn, he might not have made it this far up until this very moment.
Darn.
Huh?
Thank you.
Tarn paused a little, looked at Paya's face, and didn't know how to react. Paya curled up a thin smile at him while knuckling on Tarn's head to bring him back to the ground.
Where did your mind drift into? I just said thank you, and you've got malfunction.
Nope, I'm just happy that I'm lost for words. Paya laughed.
Happy for what? For receiving my thanks?
Hmm, for what he had done didn't go to waste. The truth is, Paya had already said thank you to him so many times before, but this time was different from the previous ones. It sounded more sincere and gentler.
You're so weird. We just met. Why did you help me so much?
Paya asked out of curiosity. It was very often that Tarn darted to help him. Actually, Tarn helped the others too, but it might have been from his intuition, so-called clairvoyance. I don't know. I just feel that I need to protect you. Paya paused.
Cheesy. I'm a man, you know. I like women.
Words like that caused Paya to overthink, and Tarn had always acted weird with him in general. Don't say that. Paya retreated from Tarn a little further, looking at the other's demeanor. Tarn chinked in dissatisfaction. I like women, you bastard.
You just said,
I said it because I really think that way. I don't know why. If only I knew, I would tell you. But I didn't know the answer either. Despite the effort to find one, I really don't know. Kaya looked at the side of that face and resumed his close distance. I have a feeling like we have known each other before. The first time I met you, I wanted to be friends with you.
that much?
You don't believe it, do you?
I do. Because I do feel the same. But it's not from the first time I met you.
Crazy as it sounded, his memories of Tarn were still bright and vivid in every detail. Even though the first time they met wasn't a very impressive moment for Paya, after Tarn had saved his life, he sensed Tarn was a decent guy. I'm sorry for those lotuses. I didn't mean it. I actually wanted to apologize, but EA had dragged me away.
I've already forgotten about that. Don't think too much.
Paya patted Tarn's shoulder to reaffirm his statement. I didn't think much about that either. Well, what about your nightmare? You still dream about it? Asked Tarn with care. Paya smiled wryly.
Still,
The nightmare that he was attacked over and over again to protect that Garuda still cast in his sleep every night. After today, When you're ready to see Long Poo, you can tell me anytime. Lately, he has stayed in a monastery. I'll take you there.
I
I think your nightmare isn't just an ordinary one. Baya looked at Tarn's side profile. In his dream, other than he was suffering pain to his death, he heard someone wailing out his name and with endless apologies in his ear. The woman's voice was devastatingly grieving. He wanted to share it with Tarn, but didn't want to worry the other person.
mm, I'll tell you when I'm ready.
Yep, he wanted to know as well what his nightmare was all about and what the Naga tried to tell him. The next morning, everybody gathered for the line-up since the early hours and practiced the low crawling for quite a while. Finally, the moment of truth for the test result came to light. They heard that their trainers and the teachers, experts in their related fields, had spent their entire night assisting one another in evaluating the test before they could finalize the score at the break of dawn. In other words, the test results had just come right out hot off the stove.
The following names on the list, please step forward.
Everybody took a deep breath in sync, looking at that white paper in the trainer's hand with their hearts brimming with excitement. Who would be selected as Department of Special Investigation officers, soon to be revealed in a few seconds.
Mr. Tuk 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 Sadayu Kamalwipak.
Tarn slightly enlarged his eyes and pivoted to see Paya, who stepped up to the front before unfolding a thin, blissful smile. On track with projections, Paya's score ranked high on the list.
Mr. Otakorn Akrawayasun.
Singh stepped out to stand next to Paya. Everybody revealed a shocked expression as they didn't expect Singh to come in second place.
Mr. Patorn Plengtai.
Followed by Thong Tai, he was a genuine diamond in the rough.
Mr. Vasar Raksin.
Tarn formed a thin smile and stepped on out to stand beside Thong Tai.
Mr. Songyos Maliwan.
Kem walked up to accompany Tarn on the side.
The last one. Tuk 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 Tuk.
I hope you win it. Tarn closed his eyes and prayed.
Yingyay Pahanop.
Tarn's eyes flew open and revealed a smile of joy like the others.
Whoa, yes!
Yai shrieked in triumph, resulting in the trainer punishing him by making him run around the field due to his excessive exaltation. They all tried to suppress their amusement while watching the big guy running, smiling like a madman. After completing the task, Yai positioned himself next to Kim for the chief to pin the Department of Special Investigation badge on their shoulders. They felt as if the weight of the badge instantly grew heavy on their shoulder. But after these same shoulders had gone through heavy loads of many watercraft and logs, they were now strong and sturdy enough to carry the weight of the forthcoming responsibilities to their utmost. When the badge pinning and the certificate graduation ceremony ended, they all left and gathered to take a photo in front of the training base. But before going their separate ways to pack up their stuff to return to the mainland, everyone exchanged phone numbers, arranging the meetup for celebration before leaving at a famous seafood restaurant. Tarn stepped onto the ship, picked up the phone, and turned it on. Just like everybody else, they dialed each of their families and their loved ones. Tarn himself opened up the message from his mother to read and replied. His phone vibrated shortly after. Tarn picked up the phone. Tarn, you already finished the training? Why didn't you tell me you finished it today so I can pick you up? It's alright, Mom. Did you pass? Yes, I did. Right, you definitely do, because you are your father's son. Mom. That was an apparently disappointed voice to know he could pass.
His mom didn't want him to do this job. Actually, she never wanted him to be a cop at all, but she couldn't restrain him anyway. Good for you that you passed. I'm happy for you. Alright. See you tomorrow. Okay. I'll make you nam meow rice noodle for you. Lotus leaf wraps too. Yeah, I'll see you then. Alright. I love you, Tarn. Yes, I love you too. Beep. Tarn sighed and looked downward to read the message on his phone again. Mm, all were messages from P. Moore. Why send them so often? Tarn thought before replying. Moore is a Thai term which means doctor. Tarn, I've already finished my training. I'm thinking of sleeping in Chonburi for a night and going back to Chiang Mai tomorrow because I have to join the party with my friends here first. Tarn, everybody else has their room except us. Yai walked up to tell Tarn. Yesterday they were wasting time bearing their soul to each other at the beach, forgetting to ask their friends to book a room for them. Oh, what should we do then? Can we stay overnight with them? Cam objected quickly. No, we have someone else to sleep over. Indeed, it was their lovebirds. Tarn frowned a thoughtful face, or he and Yai waited until reaching the mainland and roamed around to find one would be fine. You and Pia want to join me at my condo? Just one night, it should be okay. Offered Paya. Tarn and Yai made an eye contact. Yai raised a question as they feared to bother. Don't you bring your girlfriend to spend the night? Paya shook his head. No, she and I didn't make it officially yet. Right, right. Then we'll stay at your place tonight. Tarn just observed the two agree on each other in silence. Not long after, a message from Tarn's phone popped up, but Tarn didn't open it. Until the ship docked to land, Tarn picked up the phone to read the message. My car is this way. Follow me, said Paya to Yai. Yai hung his arm around Tarn's neck to lead the way until they arrived at the parking lot. Tarn stopped his feet. The eyes scanned side to side. What are you looking for? Asked Yai. Timur. He said he came here to run his errand, so he will drop by. Is that so? Where was your Timur then? Yai helped Tarn to search for him. Haya saw both of them didn't walk up to him, so he approached them instead. But he was hit until his body staggered. Paya took a glance at the one who hit him motionlessly. The other was adorned in a light-colored shirt with a neat look at eyeglasses. However, Paya couldn't see him clearly as the other was bowing to make his apology, so Paya said it was okay. There he is, with Paya. Tarn approached Paya and turned to smile at the glassed man. Timor! That was when Paya met Tarn's Timor for the first time. Paya was stunned and looked at the handsome face of this man astoundingly. The familiar feeling overflowed, intertwined with a coldness creeping down his spine. Tarn! The young doctor curled up a thin smile to Tarn, then reached out to tenderly ruffle his naughty boy's hair. You've grown a lot darker. Didn't you wear sunblock? Tarn laughed as he brushed that hand away, answering the young doctor with a smiley face. A manly man never wears sunblock. Tarn shifted his attention back to Paya, who remained still, positioned himself next to the tall figure, and introduced. Timur, this is Paya, my friend. This is the guy who will be on a par with you. Tarn proudly presented. The young doctor curved his lips and extended his hand toward Paya. I'm Dr. Chalatorn. Nice to meet you, Mr. Paya. Paya lowered his gaze to that white hand and reached out to shake it softly. That freezing hand mirrored his gesture softly. Paya faced up to make eye contact with Dr. Chalatorn. I'm Chadayu. You can call me Paya. Chadayu. What a beautiful name. Paya nodded in acceptance. The two traded smiles thinly before drawing their hands back. The young doctor switched his gaze back to Tarn. Are you going anywhere after the training? Oh, we're thinking of staying with Paya at his condo as we didn't book our room. What about staying over with me? I'll be staying here until tomorrow for a seminar. I'm here alone, but the host booked me a villa by the sea. Tarn put on a thoughtful face. Um, Tarn looked back to Paya. He felt ashamed as they had already firmly agreed on each other, but he called it off at the end of the day. But after seeing Paya tip his head in approval, Tarn answered Dr. Shalator. Alright, I'll go stay with you. What do you think, bro? Tarn twirled around to ask Yai. No prob, replied Yai. So, can we go now? Invited Dr. Shalatorn. So Tarn swiveled to Paya and reached out to give a soft squeeze on his friend's toned bicep with a cheerful expression. Paya, see you in the evening, Tarn said with a smile. Hmm, have a safe trip, said Paya, smiling. Tarn bobbed his head. Please excuse us, Mr. Paya. The young doctor said goodbye. Paya softly nodded in acknowledgement. Shalatorn held Tarn's hand and left. Yai watched the two's back and whirled to Paya. See you in the evening. Safe drive. Paya nodded to Yai as he watched the three of them walk away before sending a thin smile to Tarn, who rotated to wave goodbye in an awkward demeanor that he was scolded by Pi. Paya let out a soft laugh and watched the young doctor get in his car and drive out of sight. Then he walked to his own car and headed to his condo. The first time Paya met that doctor, inside of him was frigidly cold and on fire at the same time. Even though it was uncanny, Paya managed to pay no mind, wiping off the thought and resuming his focus on his driving, thinking that it might have been all in his head. End of chapter 5.